Hi everybody, it's welcome back to a new year on from Dungeons and Starships. So this being our first video of 2025. Now I know it's come towards the end of January, beginning of February, but I've got a question to ask you, and I wanted to make sure that a lot of you have had a little bit of experience to be able to honestly answer this question with us. We would have seen that we've been probably inundated so far with a lot of content creators who have put out videos about their to-do list for 2025, and showing off the pile of shame that they amalgamated over the course of 2024, and looking back at stuff they didn't do as one of their lists to do for 2024. So I'm sort of going to ask you the same question. Did you come up with something in 2024 that you just didn't get round to? Have you already marked yourself down as things that you want to get done for 2025? And have you actually stuck to it over this first month of the year? Now, I'm one of those who really believes that to-do lists aren't probably the best thing for you to do, because eventually we'll end up and we'll be looking at certain videos which we'll talk about in the near future about people suffering from hobby burnout, people suffering from the fact that they've just got too much on their hands and how it's all got getting a bit too much, etc., and just decided that it's not doing them any good in their hobby lives, which is quite a bit understandable when you put ourselves under the pressure that we do. The one thing that I feel about that we don't really cover well in those those master plans of things that we're going to get done is we list the project that we want to get done, but don't list the actual amount of time that we're going to be able to put towards these projects. I mean, it's easy enough for us to look at, honestly, the amount of hobby times we have, the amount of hobby time we give ourselves on a weekly, monthly basis, and be able to stretch that out and look at those projects that we've got on the back burner and truly see how long it's going to take us to get through those hobbies as they stand. A lot of times you will find that realistically that you're never going to get enough time to get these projects done, because there's no real catching up with projects. There's no real catching up with hobby projects that you put on the back burner. You basically lost the time that you were ever going to devote to them already, and it's just going to prolong its outcome, even if you do decide to get stuff done. But there's another thing that rears its ugly head normally at the start of the year as well. And one thing that a lot of content creators also jump on: the new year, new army fad. About that you should really now. Oh, it's a new year. I'm going to start something new, new project, new army for a game I'm playing, etc. Now, to me, that can be again slightly detrimental to not only a thought patterns in terms of playing the games, but putting ourselves under a bit too much stress and strain to try and get things done. I mean, realistically, if we looked at it, could we say that we've maybe jumped on that bandwagon quite a lot over the last few years? And can we adequately look back and say, yes, I actually got a new army done in the space of the 12 months? But then again, are we people who are hobbying to display, or are we hobbying to game? And if we're hobbying to game, realistically, can we turn back and say, oh yeah, we might have got the project done, but have we given it enough due care and attention to actually have it on the table and actually having it playing? And you'll probably find that a lot of us have got a bit of a shortfall in those areas. Now, myself, I'm will hold my hands up. I'm a great, um, not victim, but a great perpetrator of this type of thing, that I will talk myself into countless other projects, etc., etc. And we'll be looking at, especially the kit bashing side of the things, be amalgamating kits from ourselves and bits and pieces that I think are going to go towards projects that I'm going to do in the next 12 months, and have the best intention to do those projects. I try to keep them as small as possible, maybe one or two figures and not really too much else. But again, I don't really ever get round to it. So perpetually, I've got this ability of my grey pile of shame doing nothing more than being a magnet to itself and attracting more grey shame to it. I can buy kits from various different manufacturers and be buying those various kits just for individual parts that come on the sprue. And then realistically, the rest of the models within that box, within that set, will sit in a, this mythical, oh yeah, I'll probably might do something with that in the future going forwards. And to be quite honest, I never really do. Some examples that I've just pulled out, we've got like Warhammer Age of Sigmar here, some of the stabbers, the old Gloomspite kits. I bought this kit solely for the archer's arms, so the shooters. And once I've clipped all the ones I've wanted off the sprues themselves, I'm left with all the models, all the heads, all the bodies, spears, etc., etc., to make the full, 20 miniatures to appear in this box that I'm never going to use. But it's not only through Games Workshop I would do this. So also with Bolt Action 3 coming out now, I was a great proponent of Bolt Action, playing in both first and second editions. I've got my armies for a couple of armies going forward. So it wasn't going to be a new army, but one of the boxes I've picked up was the new Fallschirmjäger. Now, this was picked up more to do with the winter suits that these guys appear in, because I'm wanting to have a look at another game that I used to play and still revisit it, remodel for it, and see what I can come up with. So there's 30 guys in this box. Now, looking at the idea I've got for the little warband, it's going to be no more than 5 or 6 figures. So I've got 25 models in that box that are probably going to languish again in that, that pile of opportunity, that grab pile of shame, whichever way you come down onto it. But with both these ideas, I thought to myself, well, could I actually put them to better use in 2025 than just having them languishing in my cupboards or on my shelves? Now, the idea I've come up with has come up in line with seeing something that a local sports club tried to put together. Now, a local sports club that's in, quite a deprived area. So a lot of the times for, the kids who go to get the equipment they need, for the football, getting themselves football boots, etc., etc., and shorts, tops, and everything like that to play in is quite difficult for the families who want their kids to be involved. So a lot of the times they will put out shouts to local communities to say, if you've got any second-hand bits of kit that you don't want anymore, your kids have outgrown, etc., etc., please donate them to the club itself, and those could be used then going forwards to help more underprivileged kids from getting in and being able to play sports, etc., which I think, is a wonderful idea. I mean, I'm constantly with my kids out, they outgrowing their sports gear on a yearly basis. So, you know, normally around this time, we normally have a clear out of all the kit that they don't use anymore, they don't fit in anymore, and we'll donate them to these groups to make use of. So I thought to myself, could we do something akin to that in terms of using our non-used hobby? Now, there are groups that make use of the modelling genre to help people who are in difficulties. And the first one we're going to introduce you to in a later video is a group called Models for Heroes, which takes the modelling aesthetic and uses it for getting people who have some form of social anxiety, some form of inability to sort of like to want to be out in company, etc., and get these guys and these people together, hobby together, and then maybe make some new friends, maybe set up a little bit of a support group between themselves. The main components is they use military modelling from companies like Warlord, and I know Warlord Games do sponsor these guys quite often, and often send them care packages of kits, etc. And a lot of the guys would be ex-military guys suffering from PTSD, etc., and lets them have a ability of something to look forward to in terms of a weekly get together with friends where they can just sit around and model and paint. So could we do something like that, and could we aid these people in the work that they do by giving some of our greater pile of shame and making it into an opportunity for these charities and these groups to carry on their really wonderful work? No, no way am I suggesting that what you should do is you should take all those kits and models that you've spent all your hard-earned money on and just give them away to these charities. Let them use them. I'm not going to propose that at all, because that's, in the way that I would never expect anyone to do that. But what I'm thinking is, could we give up one sprue? Could everybody who is involved in the wargaming community, I'm sure everyone has the ability of one sprue of figures that they might be able to get rid of. And what we could do is, and I've done this myself, is when you're then going on to sell that one sprue that's on things like eBay, you could put down the whole costs and the whole the price that it goes for at the end is 100% donated to one of these charities, and Models for Heroes is one of those that are on the list. So it could end up that basically everybody gives up one sprue, everybody makes a couple of pounds off each sprue, just selling it online. People who might want their sprues for a project get what they need, and then the couple of pounds goes to whatever charity we're going to be involved in, whatever charity we're going to support. If enough of us do that, that's going to be quite a considerable sum of funds that could be going to these groups and charities to help them to carry on their work. And to be quite honest, none of us have done really much apart from giving up a couple of pounds to a sale of something that we're probably not going to get used. What I'm going to try and put this down, and what I'm going to preliminary name this, is going to be the Grey Mountain campaign. See if we can use that grey mountain of plastic that, if we all come together, would be, everyone dumping a sprue in. You'd hate to see, the actual pile of plastic that would come to fulfill, and see again if we can make that plastic do some good more generally in the community, and rather than to, like, languishing for years and eventually either be thrown out or discarded because it's no use to us anymore. Now, I'm not going to tell you which charity you should be supporting. At the end of the day, everybody has their their own remit of charities that they often give to, or put money in pots of cancer research, heart foundation, etc., etc. All I'm going to do is, over the next 12 months, is every so often I'm going to introduce you, hopefully, to a different group, and that different group will hopefully have the ability of maybe using wargaming, using modeling, using the tabletop genre as helping out to people who are less fortunate than themselves. So, like I said, we're going to go with Models for Hobbies as our first one. We're going to introduce you to in a week or so's time after this video goes out. But also, what I'd like to hear from you guys. I'd like to hear about those groups that could benefit from this kind of support. Now, whether that's communities that goes into schools, goes into hospitals, goes visiting sick children in the hospitals, and maybe takes some of this wargaming, Warhammer stuff in with them to give those kids an hour or two on a weekly basis, just something to look forward to that's a lot less mundane and probably some of the stuff they have to go through on a daily basis. Give them something to look forward to. So hopefully it would be something that a lot of people can get involved with, and hopefully it would be one of those things that maybe eventually end up doing some real good with a little outlay by ourselves. But if we all come together and be the community that I know we all can be, then why not? Every little bit that we can offer will, in the grand scheme, make a more exponential difference if we can get enough people involved with the campaign itself. So what am I asking you for? Well, to be quite honest, nothing. If you don't want to get involved, if you don't want to be part of this, then fair enough. Nobody's going to make you do anything. If you do want to get involved and just have the one sprue given away throughout the year, make a couple of pounds for a charity somewhere along the line, then fair play to you. Then that's all I can ask. If people want to get rid of large kits, if they've got kits that maybe these charities may be able to make use of going into the places that they go into. Like I say, when we interview these groups, they'll talk about that maybe they'll want donations of kits to go in, and those donations will help out the work that they do and be able to bring some joy for wargaming and the wargaming hobby that many of us experience, but probably could do a little bit more to make sure those who are a little less well off than us can experience as well. So hopefully you get the idea. Hopefully it's something you want to be involved with. If you can, please can you like and subscribe and share the video around to people in your community, people who probably wouldn't know, to find this idea online. could you jump on Instagram, and basically, if you are going to donate kits or make sales, etc., etc., that you make people aware that that the sale is actually being part, and we'll set up a hashtag that we can put in, so everyone can have a look what other people are providing, other people are looking at getting rid of from their collections, and hopefully we can make 2025 a better year for a lot of people. So thanks for listening, guys. Hope this doesn't sound too much like a bit of a diatribe to start off with the year, but I just thought, this is probably to my mind, something I would be more passionate about doing than slugging through a load of grey plastic that I'm not going to get through, and make use of it in some other way for some other people to make their lives a little bit of a better place. Going forwards, again, please have a look and check out the Patreon for the channel. It's still in its infancy. We've only a couple of people who signed up for it, so there's loads of scope for you being the first ones in the door and helping out with these groups. Make sure that you offer us the suggestions about the various groups that you think we might like to support. And if I can't say anything, I hope your 2025 goes as well as you'd wish other people's to as well. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.